folks. And remember, we're staying in here for natural gas. Chantal, you could start it now. Let me put my screen up. So let me do the introduction. Give me 1 second. Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the ISM Services Trade Room. My name is Lee Goldstein. I'm the Trading Director at 10-Minute Trades. Please remember all the trades we discuss for educational purposes. It is possible to lose money trading futures, so trade carefully. All right, so we're going to be looking at gold, not the NQ this time of day. So I'm just setting up a reasonably typical gold breakout on final services. Okay, it's the trade, the 15-minute 9:45 trade that 99% of the time trades before ISM services. It has not been a consistent trade in a very long time, but sometimes it works reasonably well with the breakout on gold. And I just want to see, how does gold behave with a 10-tick bracket, a target of 5, a target of 15, a stop of 10, and an entry time of 9:45. Okay, that's the way I have often tested this trade. I want to see, all I'm doing is for informational purposes only. Okay, I want to see it might be a little bit early to have an idea whether or not gold breakouts are working, because 15 minutes before, sorry, 15 minutes after 9:30 is traditionally a pretty volatile time of day to trade. Okay, so I just want to make that clear. Now I need 10 seconds, okay? I'll be back in 10 seconds. Okay, can you hear me okay? I assume you all can hear me okay. So let me go over the setting. Now the market's opening right now, so that's why there's volatility. All right. Now the 9:45 trade, the 9:45 trade, or the 9:45 event, I'm just trying to get a feeling for how the market might behave on a breakout after news. I want to see, A, is the news released on time? Yesterday, the ADP news was late. I've never seen that in all the years I've been here. Never. It's the first time I can ever remember that happening on ADP news. Forex Factory mistakenly said it was 2 minutes late. We know because I listen to Financial Juice in my headset, Financial Juice Pro. They have a squawk box that we pay for. That squawk box speaks the news in my ear and it tells me. It told me yesterday that the ADP news was about 20 seconds late. It wasn't 2 minutes late. Okay. Now, if you didn't know, I mean, my boss told me, hey, you should have stayed in. The news was 2 minutes late. But he wasn't in the trade room. He didn't realize that, no, it wasn't. It was a much more complicated trade if the news came out 17 seconds after 8:15, which is what it did. Because then, if you were here, it was one of the most bizarre reactions we've ever seen to the ADP report. It was very strange. But so there's tools. I guess my point is there are very good tools that you can use to try and help you to to keep yourself safer when you trade events. So these are the numbers they're expecting, 56 and 56.7 on market services. The US is a services economy. Let me check my setup. So I'm using a bracket of 10. It's kind of big. Normally I wouldn't use a bracket this big on this report. And here's what's interesting. Gold is not crazy this morning. I'm going to try and get away with a bracket of 8. I want to see if there's a move. That's all I'm interested in. Target of 6, target of 15, stop of 10, and my entry time is 9:45. Okay? That's the way I'm setting this trade up. And I'm looking just for information. I want to see if our bracket can withstand being on the chart if the news is a little bit late. I don't think it's going to even be an issue in this case, though, because our orders don't go on until the news is supposed to be released. So usually this report has a history of being on time. It doesn't have a history of problematic news releases. I've been watching this report for many years. It's not been a consistent report, and that's nobody's fault. What I'm looking for is maybe it'll give me an idea of how to trade the next event, the ISM services report. And right after this report comes out, I'll tell you what I'm thinking. Or I could tell you what I'm thinking. I mean, the ISM services report, which is the next report, it's 10 o'clock. It's the main reason we're here. And then we'll stay for natural gas. But the ISM services report had been better as a trap trade up until the last 4 months. And then all of a sudden, the report started bursting. But let's be honest, this whole week, we have not seen a single report burst because I believe news conditions in the world. ISM manufacturing would have served us way better as a trap trade rather than a breakout. ISM services, I've had a very good trap trade setup that has struggled over the past 4 months because ISM services has been bursting. But the real issue is I don't think it's going to burst today because markets haven't been bursting from breakout trades. It's just the way the market's been behaving. Good morning, Jody. It's just the way the markets have been behaving. They have not been bursting. They've been choppy. The enemy of the trap trade is a big breakout in one direction. It'll stop you out right away. It's just what it does. It's what it does. Now, when you have candles like this, we're 5 minutes away from the report. That's okay. All right. It's allowed. If that was 30 seconds or a minute before the report, you shouldn't trade the report. But we have 5 minutes. I expect that the market, as we get closer to 9:45, it's going to calm down. It's going to calm down. So, if you think the market is more prone to swinging on a news result, then the trap trade has potential. The problem with ISM services, like I said, for the past 4 months, it's been breaking out. But breakouts, they haven't been exploding. They have not been exploding. And the most recent ISM breakout did not work in February. Okay. Yes, I know January worked and December worked and November worked. I know that. But so was the case in ISM manufacturing, and the breakout didn't work. And it was 4 out of 6. Okay. So I'm just curious, how is the 9:45 report going to move, if at all? It might be a little bit too close to the open. Just hearing some news in my earphones right there for a second. Anyway, so first things first, 9:45, let's check our time sync by going to the website time.is. It syncs my computer. And we'll see if there's a normal reaction to final services. That's just curious, what's the reaction? Now, one of the issues that we're dealing with is gold is trending up at the moment. big pivot right here. Big pivot. A little bit of resistance right at that spot. Everybody can hear me just fine, I assume, right? So because of the way the gold market's behaving, I don't think we're going to get a reasonable test. You can't tell. You just can't tell because the market's moving gold more than this report will. So I might have left the bracket at 10. It's at 8. We'll see what happens. Remember, this is just a test. So the news is out, it's negative, and that should push gold up. But it certainly didn't respond as if there was a news report. I mean, it really didn't. It's just moving just as if the market was moving. Okay. It's moving just like the market was moving. It filled, it went through the fill, right? It filled and went through the fill. It's a pretty small offset, meaning it's almost the exact news they expected. It's almost the exact news expected. The only thing it showed me is that you could put a trade on safely, right? That much you could do. So we had an 8-tick bracket, and you can see it's struggling to really do much in terms of follow through. Okay. The news was negative. In theory, that should push gold further up. In theory, but it just doesn't seem to care that much about the market trade, about the trade. Okay. And it went up and down, up and down. So it is what it is. All right. It is what it is. So we have, so here's the ISM. Let me just get my video set. Let me get my video set. I'll show you the DMM. One more time. So here's the ISM DMM. Stopped last month. 4 winners. Stopped September. Big spikes on the recent winners. But the market doesn't seem to be spiking big on news. That's the issue. So the decision is take the trade as a breakout, right? ISM services didn't work. ISM manufacturing didn't work as a breakout. Or The markets have been going up and down a lot on news. Take it as a trap trade. And if there's movement up and down, we will get to take advantage of that movement. We can use a trap that has reasonable size. This is a very difficult decision. All the decisions are difficult this week because the markets are very difficult. There's no way to deny that. We can use a breakout, a trap, I mean, where our tiers are 20 ticks and 28 ticks. The event is at 10 o'clock, and we put our orders on the chart. The prep activation time is 5 seconds, and the stop is 15. If it doesn't work, generally a stop of 20 isn't going to save you. If it doesn't work, it's not going to work because it's going to burst. And if it bursts, the trade's not going to work. Okay? But if it acts the way most of the event trades have worked this week, up and down, then we should have an opportunity. Either we won't get filled because it won't move enough, or we will get filled and it'll move up and down, and we'll have an opportunity for a profit. So the setup I'm using is tiers of 20 and 28. The event time is 10 o'clock, the time of entry. Activation time, when you put your orders on the chart, preparation seconds is 5, and my stop is 15. Okay? That's how I'm trading it. I feel that the breakouts have not been breaking out. They've been moving up and down. They've been chopping around. And that's one of the reasons that we've had difficult with trades. So we have other tools in our arsenal. If I'm wrong, I'll get stopped out and it'll be lousy. It will be lousy. Any questions? Now, if you want to trade the breakout, the setup is a bracket of 6, targets of 7 and 15 with a stop of 10, and an entry time of 9:59:59. Okay, that's the setup. The market is not crazy volatile. Okay, I'll check my time sync again. By going to the website time.is, it puts me in sync. My enemy is a trade that bursts. Okay, here's our enemy. January, ISM services. Big burst. Big burst. Okay, and it made a little bit of money. It was a high slippage, difficult fill kind of burst. Okay, that is what you don't want in a trap trade. Okay, you don't want a breakout move in one direction. That's not what we want. We want a move up that fills us short, and then a move down that hits our targets. That's the way a trap trade works. When a trap trade puts orders on the chart, if the market goes up, it sells you. If the market goes down, it buys. Okay? So, am I right? It's not about being right, I guess. It's about what do you think the behavior of the market has been on these types of reports? And the behavior of the market has been choppy. Okay? ISM manufacturing didn't burst in one direction. Canada GDP didn't go in one direction. Okay. Even Australia GDP, that was a winner, didn't really have much of a single direction move. Steve, you don't get what? You don't get what? What do you mean you don't get that? If you don't have it, it means that you didn't download it when you downloaded your software. You got to go and download it. There's two strategies on the website when you download the software. So you want to go download it for later so you have it. All right. Go to the website, log in, and download it. It's up there. It's up there. Trap Trade for NT8 is what you want to download. And then it installs the same way as any indicator. Nothing snazzy about the install. Nothing fancy. Mauricio, you can't add strategies to Thinkorswim. The platform doesn't allow it. We would love to do it for Thinkorswim. We would love to do it. They don't have an API, so you can't do it. If you notice, there's no third-party strategies on Thinkorswim, and that's the reason, because they don't support connecting to other companies' software, which is a shame. A lot of people use Thinkorswim. Now, see, I'm a little bit less concerned that oil is moving, that gold is moving, not oil. Now look, if all of a sudden gold is going to go into a downward spiral, I'm going to cancel the trade by clicking this check mark, okay? By unchecking it. Normally, what happens here is we should calm down the minute before the trade. That's what you're looking for. A little bit of a calm down before the news, and then an up and down kind of move. An up and down kind of move. And I'll try and explain what I'm doing if it's a normal trade. You have a cancel button. We're going to put two brackets, the tiers. If they both don't get filled, I will cancel the outer tier, but I'll wait more than a minute. I'll wait more than a minute for this trade to play out. I won't cancel it right away. And when you cancel or exit a trap trade, if you don't exit by managing with your stops and targets, you close it. You can always close it by hitting the close button. It's not the best way to exit a trade, but if you had to, you could. So there's the news. It filled us. Okay, we were right. $360 profit. 360, the market on this report bounced up and down, did exactly what we expected. Now look, it was a pretty good burst. If you traded the breakout, Chantal, the breakout might have worked depending on slippage, okay? Depending on slippage. Now, look, when you get negative news, very negative, that should have pushed price up and kept it there. That's why I moved my stop like a lunatic, okay? I'll show you the video. I'll explain what I did. Derek, I'll explain it. I'll show you the video. I'll explain everything that I did because a lot of people don't know the trap trade. Now, look, if you were in a breakout trade, you would have got stopped out eventually because the price has come all the way back down and now it's going back up. The news was 56.5. The important piece of news when they were expecting 61. That's a huge offset. That's a huge offset. That we got lucky, but not really. We analyzed the markets all week. We've had difficult trades, and we made an intelligent decision based on the way the markets have been treating us. Okay? And the way the markets have been treating us is they've been breaking out small. And this broke out medium to good. But we had good settings. Thank you, Chantal, for making me use a bigger settings. I was going to use smaller trap trade settings, and they may not have worked. Thank you, Chantal, for looking at the market for me and helping me come up with larger settings, bigger brackets. Okay? Now, look. Prices back where we got in. So I wasn't going to hang around long. I wanted to take my profit pretty quick because the news was very negative. Gold's got an upward trend. News keeps gold moving up. Okay, we got out at a pretty good spot. Pretty good spot at the time. At the time. Let's look at the video because we're going to fool around with natural gas. Fool around is the right word. All right. Now, if you traded, I'm going to download the data. Did anybody trade? I used your tiers, Chantal. I used your tiers, 20 and 28. Did anybody trade the breakout? Did anybody trade the breakout? Did anybody trade the breakout? Is anybody trading or is everybody just watching? Anybody trading, or is everybody just watching and learning about what we're doing here? Don't forget Powell speaking now. Okay, so natural gas may be a non-trade. Anybody trade the breakout? Steve S. I know you're a reversal dude. Steve S. Trap trade is a good reversal trade. Good reversal trade. It's a little bit easier because you don't have to guess what time you're getting in. I'm downloading the data right now for this trade. I think the breakout would have worked depending on slippage. Okay. If you got filled at the top of the candle, it wouldn't have been that great, right? But nobody traded it. Nobody traded it. Not one person traded it. I do understand that these are difficult markets. I do understand. And now the price is back down, and it didn't go that much higher than it did initially, but let's look at the video. Let me analyze this trade for you. Chantal, did you look at jobs for a trap tomorrow? U.S. jobs. Did you look for a trap when we did our testing this week? I don't remember. Let's look at the video. Let me explain everything about this trade, why it worked. And I'm going to put natural gas on. I'm assuming natural gas is the 4 contract. Okay, here's the video of the trade we just took. The trap trade. Now, first of all, would a 6-tick bracket have survived as a breakout? Let me just go over my settings one time, what I used. I used a tier of 28. Bracket 1 was 28. Sorry, 20. Bracket 2 was 28. I only used a 15-tick stop. I probably should have used a 20. Okay. And I put my orders on 5 seconds before the news came out. That's the way I did the trap. The breakout would have been 6 ticks. Our orders would have been on the chart right now, right here, for a breakout. And it would have worked. The breakout worked. Okay? 6-tick bracket, price moved. The breakout was fine today. It was fine. I can tell you that. It was not that fast of a move. It would have worked beautifully. But we had some, so that tells us something very good. Tomorrow's jobs report I think we can count on a breakout working. Okay. I think we can count on the breakout. That's what I think. Okay. That's what I think. We can count on the breakout for the jobs report tomorrow. I'm definitely planning on trading the jobs report live tomorrow with a lot of risk. I want my money back from this week. I'm going all in tomorrow. So 10 o'clock, the news comes out this morning, and our tiers, see how far away they are from the current price? They're far because we wanted to give ourselves as much safety if there's a burst, right? And there was. It burst, but it didn't keep going. So there's the burst. It filled both the tiers and it stopped, and I didn't take the profit. Should I have taken the profit right here? Maybe. I had an opportunity right there to take a pretty good profit. 220 bucks. Not bad, right? I didn't take it, and I thought I was in trouble. The news was real negative. I decided to combine my orders right there. I hit the combine button. I was thinking about hitting the close button. Did you see that? But I waited for it to drop. I moved my stop where I knew it would get filled. Party over. 360. Who wants to ask me a question about the trade? Derek, does that answer your question about how I got the profit? The price going up filled us short. And that means that a trap trade is a low slippage entry. It's going into the market the opposite way that the market's moving. That's your best shot for lower slippage, right? You're not jumping on a moving train. You're falling off a train before it starts moving. And as the price dropped, I had the opportunity to move my stop. I knew this was going to be fast. I didn't want to fool around with managing orders. I wanted to just get my stop where it would get hit. And, 360. Should I have traded more contracts? If I was more confident, I would have. But risk has been very challenging this week. But that gives me back my beige book trade and my ISM manufacturing trade. Gives me my money back. Okay. Most of my losses were not big this week. I didn't trade big, but they don't look good when you lose. It's awesome to win. Okay. So that was a nice winner. Natural gas. Let's put it on. I'm going to put natural gas on ticks. Okay. On ticks. On my indicator. Net change display. Net change display. So natural gas has moved 80 ticks. But it is trending up right now. It's trending up right now. Okay. Do I have any interest in trading natural gas today? I don't. It was not in my plan for this week, no matter what. And I'll show you why. Regardless of what's going on in the world, natural gas was not in my plan today. The energies are too volatile. They're too volatile. But it wasn't in my plan anyway for the following reason. Natural gas has been trading pretty well since it went through a bad period, right? Now, see, I don't totally agree with the way that my boss decided to write this note. After 1021, this report has only had 8 of 16 trades safe, 50%. Okay. But the truth is, since the new year, it's been trading a lot better. Natural gas is trading better now than it did in October. And it started trading very poorly at the end of September. Okay. But I'm waiting, A, for the markets to tell us it's safe to trade natural gas. Right now, with the war, if there was no war going on, my plan was to wait for natural gas to have a stop out or two and then to start trading it and see what kind of response we get from it. But right now, it's had two winners in a row. The market is nothing like what it was before the invasion, and the energies are tremendously volatile this week, and it's just not in my plan this week. All right, it wasn't in my plan because of that. Because of that. So that's the truth. Natural gas just not in my plan. It's okay. You don't have to have a trade in your plan. Every report's not to be traded if you don't want to. I don't know that Powell speaking is doing that much to natural gas. Seriously, I don't think it's affecting the price all that much. Now, right at this moment, natural gas is really bullish. Really bullish. All right. Very, very bullish. But the plan here is to set up our regular breakout, which I think shouldn't have been with a 5 tick bracket. I think I don't see how it can survive a 5 tick bracket, but somehow it seems to do it every week. So let's see if this market allows natural gas to survive a 5 tick bracket. And then I'm also going to set up our 3 minute after the news trade. Fred, do you happen to be here? Fred, do you happen to be here? Yeah, I don't see Fred. Anybody, if you're out there and you want to type in what's been working for you in these markets, how have you been trading and making money? What have you been doing? Type it in. Tell people. These are very different markets. When you have a war, nothing is normal. You know, I noticed some people in here that I know that you have setups. And I'm just curious if you feel like sharing with the members, type in what you've been doing and if it's been working, what's been working for you. If you feel like it, I'm sure people would like to know that. So, our natural gas setup, taken from the DMM, which I think might be challenged today. It's a 5 tick bracket. There's three targets. We always choose 5 and 12 normally. Now the market's pretty darn volatile, don't you think? Pretty darn volatile. But I'm going to just test our exact setup today. If I was going to trade natural gas, I'm using bigger targets. I want to catch those days when natural gas has a 50 tick move. Those are the ones I'm trying to catch. I'm not expecting that today. I'm expecting maybe a troubled report today. It doesn't mean it'll happen, but it's had two winners in a row. My first target is 5. My second target is 12. My stop is 15. I'm testing the DMM. And the entry time is 10:29:59. That's my natural gas setup for today. And like I said, I'm testing. Okay. Now, the 3 minute after the trade, I will go back and I'll change the instrument to a 30-second chart, okay? Because that's the chart we use. Now, if you want to be 100% fanatical and make sure you're trading the right natural gas contract, I know that I am, okay? Because it's 22 days till rollover. NG4 is correct. So our breakout is set up and it's ready to go, okay? The breakout's ready. I do want to look at my bracket size because the bracket's so small. And then I'll set up the 3 minute after. Okay, bracket's a little small. Okay, there's our bracket. Putting the time back. Entry time 10:29:59. Okay, 10:29:59. Targets of 5 and 12. Stop 15. The 3 minute trade, I'm going to come back and change the chart to 30 seconds. I'm going to put on a second strategy because we have a possible after trade. It's a type of a range trade. So the ticks are going to be +1 above the range, +1 below the range. Graphic shown on chart means the range will get drawn and you'll see it. And how many bars am I going to look back to create a range? 2. I'm creating a 2-bar range, not a time-based range. And all I'm looking for is an 8-tick profit. And we're risking 10 ticks. Is it possible in this volatile market to pull this kind of a trade off? I don't know. That's one reason I want to test it. It's a squeeze play setup. Squeeze play setup. Okay. I'm labeling it. And here's the idea. We're going to look at the squeeze as an indicator. And we want the squeeze momentum length 17. Okay. And I want the colors like they are now. So when you see a change in color, that represents a change in momentum. I'm going to know the direction I'm taking this trade. After the news comes out, I'm going to, after the breakout trade's over, I'm going to change my chart to 30 seconds. I have 3 minutes. 3 minutes. My range is being drawn, okay, which is perfectly fine. I'm going to look for a change in direction, a change in momentum right after the news is released. Normally, what happens with natural gas, the news will come out and it will create a direction. I will wait for a change in that direction. I will see that change in direction by the squeeze changing color. I wait for 2 bars. Sometimes I'll wait for one, and I sometimes will get in early. But normally the rule is wait for 2 squeeze bars. I think in this market, we're going to wait because there's so much possibility of changes and trades being nullified by direction changing. So I'm going to wait for, make believe the news came out and it was bright green. This is my signal right here, my first signal. I need the moving averages to point in the direction I want to be going, or at least to be flattening out if they were pointing the opposite way. So if natural gas is down on the news, the storage report, then I'm waiting for the bright green and I'm waiting for the 4 moving averages that I'm looking at to be pointing in the direction I want to take the trade. I'm going to know the direction because at the time of the news, natural gas, most of the time, it doesn't always work. We don't always get a signal. Most of the time, a direction will be created. And then I just wait for my signals. I'm going to wait for the squeeze to change color and momentum in an opposite direction. I'm going to wait for my moving averages to help me by giving me confirmation of the direction. And I'm going to be on a 30-second chart. So I'll change over to a 30-second chart. Now, I don't need to put this trade on until after the breakout is over. Okay, so we can watch the breakout without the range bothering us. Not everybody likes the range. That's the 2-bar range we're using. Okay, the moving averages are 8 EMA on blue. My red is a 21 EMA. My black is 100 EMA. And my gold is a 47 EMA. So what are my setup rules again? I'm looking at a 30-second chart. I'm going to just check my time sync by going to time.is. I'm looking at a 30-second chart after the breakout. Okay, we don't know what's going to happen on the breakout yet. I'm going to see if there's a direction created with the storage report. If there's a solid direction created, I'm going to wait 3 minutes until I look for a change in direction. Or if a new direction is created before the 3 minutes are up, then that's the direction I'm going to look to reverse. But I'm looking to reverse a change in direction that may be created by the storage report. Okay, and I'll talk through it. It's not complicated because usually it's very easy to see it. Okay, usually it's easy to see it. Powell is still speaking. Okay, Powell is still speaking. I'm just trying to think if I'm leaving anything out here. Is anybody trading natural gas live? with the breakout settings? Anybody? Anybody out there? Mark. Heck no. Heck no, Mark says. Erica, no. Any, where's TJ or AJ? TJ, you here? All right, we got 1 minute. Is Pal a repeat from yesterday? That's what they just said in my ear. I don't think it has any effect on natural gas. But look at natural gas. A breakout is tricky today, no matter how you look at it. So after this news, which is coming out in 15 seconds, you'll see our trade will end fast. Most of the time, it's immediate. There's the bracket. Weird response. That would have been a lousy fill. I don't know that would have been a winning trade. I'll tell you why. It might have filled in the wrong direction. That was a weird movement, folks. Very weird movement. Almost matching news, a little bit more gas used than expected. A little bit more gas used than expected, pushing the price up. Going to a 30-second chart. Okay. Setting up our after the news trade. So here's what we know. Right now, natural gas is pushing up. Okay, right now. We have to wait 3 minutes. Now it's not pushing up. You know, might have been a good immediate reversal. Might have been a good immediate reversal. Okay. We're waiting to make sure there's a direction. A created direction is what we want. Right now, the created direction is up. See how you got light green, bars, multiple. This first bar here, right here, starts our reaction to the report. The reaction is up. Price is up. I know I'm going to go short if it maintains this movement for the next minute and a half. Minute. 1 more minute is what we need. So what I'm looking for, and I'm going to use the range short button to enter. The one-click range short button, because that's going to put my orders on the downside of the price. This line will be my order, the bottom line. The inner lines are the range. When I get moving averages that start pointing flat to down, and I get a dark green band on the squeeze for 2 bars, then and only then will I consider clicking the short one-click range short button. It's 3 minutes. There's my first signal. I'm tempted to take it right now. Breaking my rule. Why? The moving averages flattened. Moving averages flattened. There was a big burst in price. I'm only looking for 8 ticks. It may not work, but I like that first signal. I usually like it better then the second. In this case, I would have been entering right now almost in the exact same spot. Couple of ticks higher. It might have been a better entry, to be honest. It might have been a better entry. I just want a correction of 5 more ticks. 4. That's all I want. Bingo. Okay? Even in a crazy market like today, you can do this after trade. Even in a crazy market. Mark, the news was against me. There was 1 billion cubic feet more used. A billion more used. So the news was actually against us. But it's not that big of a difference. This worked perfectly this morning. I believe, so here's why I think it worked. It was a big pop up, and what we're seeing with this war is the markets are popping up and down, up and down, up and down a lot. They're having big swings, but they're popping up and down a lot. And this type of a reversal trade seems to be good. So it worked. So that's our 3-minute after the news setup. It's better, it's easier to do a reversal this way than to try and do that 1 second reversal. In other words, that immediate reversal after the pop up on the breakout. Now let's look at the video. Is natural gas going to test the low now? Is it going to test the low? The magnet trade, not a great risk today. It's a little too risky because of the world conditions, honestly. A little bit difficult because of world conditions, just, so you know. So I'm not sure. And it's far away. It's pretty far. Okay. It's pretty far. Let's look at the video. Give me a sec. Okay, here's the trade. Here's the breakout. I think the breakout was really strange today. Watch it in real time. Here's a recording of the breakout at the exact minute of the report. That came 1 tick away from a stop. 1 tick away from a stop. Depending where you got filled in real life, that was an ultra fast fill. If it filled you 1 tick higher, you could have gotten stopped on that move down. I'm not so sure that was 100% safe, to be honest. Would depend where you got filled, okay? Not an easy fill. It was very fast. And then the 3-minute, I did 1 rule break because I've seen it happen a lot where we get the change in direction, the moving averages look, they were facing very high up and they very quickly changed direction. So I entered a little bit earlier than normal. Okay. Right there. I didn't enter. I put my order on the chart. And it entered 45 seconds early. the trade would have worked either way. If I would have waited, it would have worked also. Because if I would have waited, I would have put my order on here. Watch. Right here. And the price was, I apologize. If I waited, I would have put my order on after the second bar draws. Right there. Right there. So I would have put the price on at 713, it looks like. And I was on 714. So it was very close. But I could have waited. I could have waited. It worked, and it worked. It would have worked for at least double the ticks. Maybe in this market, we could go for more. You know, these markets are very volatile. Okay, folks, we had a great profitable trade today. If we think creatively, we can make some money. Make sure you download the trap trade if you're a member. Okay? Make sure you download the trap trade. Who said they didn't have the trap trade? Who said they didn't have the trap trade? Are you still here? Steve, let me show you where to get it. So if you're a member, log into the website. Log into the website. Hang on, let me show you. So if you're a member, you're going to log into our website. It's going to look like this or close to this. Go to JOBB Software. Go to the link JOBB Software. Click download JOBB. Scroll down a little bit. Trap trade for NT8 and download it. Okay? All right, Steve? Download the trap trade. That's all you got to do. That's it. Then you're in business. Okay? And then practice. And there's a couple of videos up there too on watching it, how to use it. The old way. We trade it differently now. So look, if I put the charts on live real money, we made a nice profit, 360. Not bad. 2 little contracts. Being safe. Trap trade worked great today on ISM. All right. Folks, I'll see everybody tomorrow for the big one. I'm going to be here early. Tomorrow morning, it's an 8 o'clock start. Now, if you're on YouTube and you want to come into the trade room, type this into your browser, 10 MT Pro, 10 MT Pro, and you can come into the trade room tomorrow. Type that in browser, all right? Come into trade room tomorrow. All right? Everybody else, I will be here. I'm figuring 15 minutes early tomorrow. I want to see how the markets are behaving. I want to see how the markets are behaving. Okay? Tomorrow. That's what I'm curious about. We have a bunch of different instruments that are possible to trade tomorrow. Okay? The euro, gold, and even ZN. Even ZN. Okay? I'll see everybody tomorrow. I'll be here 15 minutes before 8. Somewhere in there. All right, folks. I'll see everybody tomorrow. Have an excellent day and be safe.